The exact moment an insult lands, or someone openly crosses your boundary, a biological trigger trips in your brain. Your pulse spikes, your chest tightens, and the impulse to hit back floods your system. Rushing to your own defense is a deeply human reflex. In the heat of the moment, the brain craves volume, raising your voice, explaining your intentions, and justifying your worth as a way to reclaim the peace you just lost. Social conditioning often teaches us that loud, immediate retaliation is a display of strength. In reality, these explosive reactions are signals of a fragile composure struggling to regain its footing. An insult functions as a tactical probe. The person disrespecting you is throwing words in your direction to search for a crack in your composure, hunting for the specific emotional button they can press to manipulate your behavior. Losing your temper hands your opponent exactly what they want. In any social conflict, the individual who controls the emotional temperature of the room holds the leverage over the entire interaction. An emotional reaction works as a visible confession of your insecurities. It broadcasts a dependency on the other person's approval and proves that they hold the psychological influence to disturb your peace, with nothing more than a few syllables. Eagerly defending yourself results in a subconscious surrender of power. Neutralizing an attack requires a strategy that relies on calculation and restraint to keep the interaction within your own frame. The most effective countermeasure to disrespect is the tactical pause. Instead of rushing to fill the air with noise, a disciplined mind uses absolute silence as a tool to destabilize the attacker's rhythm. Silence creates a heavy tension that forces the attacker to sit with their own words. Because human beings are uncomfortable with unreadable reactions, this uncertainty often causes them to doubt their calculation or wonder if you know something they don't. This diagram separates the insult from the underlying intent. While the attacker waits for a reaction, you use the pause for forensic observation, ignoring the words spoken, and instead analyzing which of these three primary motives is driving the behavior. Jealousy often disguises itself as criticism. Your discipline or ambition forces an insecure person to confront their own mediocrity, so they attempt to reduce you emotionally to feel superior again. Boundary testing is a search for fragility. Human beings constantly probe to see what they can get away with, measuring exactly how much disrespect you will tolerate before you enforce a consequence. Then there is the performative motive. In this scenario, the attacker treats you as a probe to capture attention, using public disrespect to elevate their own social status in front of an audience. Mapping the motive allows you to see the desperation behind dominance and the fear behind mockery. Once the psychology is visible, the insult loses its personal sting and becomes a predictable sequence of events you can easily navigate. Shifting your focus from the attacker to your own resources is the next step in the strategy. Emotional energy is finite, and it belongs to you. Your attention and your access are forms of social currency. Any asset given away freely, without boundaries or requirements, eventually loses its value in the eyes of others. This philosophy of cold calculation over emotional reaction is a cornerstone of historical strategy. As Machiavelli's work suggests, those who can detach from their immediate feelings are the ones who successfully navigate the rules of social dominance. Strategic withdrawal involves a calm, intentional limitation of your presence and conversation. It is a controlled response designed to signal that access to you is no longer a given. When you continue to offer loyalty and attention to those who mistreat you, you teach them that your boundaries are meaningless. True power lies in making people feel the psychological weight of your absence. A loud, instant argument exposes your state of mind and leaves you vulnerable. A delayed, precise retaliation, removing an opportunity or shifting a loyalty, is devastating because it is delivered only when the outcome is certain. Making your attention expensive and removing it when disrespected forces the attacker to experience tangible consequences. You win the interaction without ever needing to raise your voice. The strategy ultimately moves beyond winning individual arguments. The objective is to achieve a level of success that renders an attacker's words entirely irrelevant to your reality. Words and arguments have a very small impact compared to the weight of undeniable, visible results. Over time, your achievements provide a far more durable defense than any verbal comeback. Allowing people to underestimate you is a tactical advantage. While they are blinded by their own assumptions, you can build your competence and expand your influence in the shadows, away from their scrutiny. Witnessing your rise after they have dismissed you forces an attacker to confront their own poor judgment. Your success becomes a mirror that reflects their inability to see clearly, causing a level of regret that no argument could produce. Consistently combining this silence, observation, and success results in a permanent aura of authority. This is often described as presence, a state where your reputation speaks for you before you even enter a room. Presence is built through very small, disciplined microsignals. It is visible in those who are comfortable with stillness, those who refuse to over-explain their actions, and those who clearly lack the desperation to beg for approval. When your reactions stay disciplined and your focus remains on your own growth, you establish a standard that others eventually learn to follow. You move past the need to defend your value because you have made it impossible to ignore.